If you would like to advertise your business on Conversations with Cupid, airing every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Instinct Radio, email us at shay at middleclassmatchmaker.com. That's Shay, SHAE, at middleclassmatchmaker.com.
Get ready to be motivated.
Conversations with Cupid Radio. Host Shay Primus on InstinctRadio.net.
Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Welcome to Conversations with Cupid. I'm so excited to join you tonight, and I have my friends in the building, and they're going to introduce themselves. Tonight, we're going to be discussing dating and religion and how does religion impact dating? And so I will have each of them to introduce themselves and also how they identify spiritually. And I'm really excited because we have a good mix of various belief systems in the room, and I'm excited to jump in. So I'll start with you, Ayana. If you can introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you and how you identify spiritually.
My name is Ayana Jones, and I am a 40-year-old attorney originally from New York. And I identify spiritually. It's a little tricky, but I think the closest would be nativism.
Nativism. So I'm going to need some explanation of what is that.
I have a lot of spiritual practices that are based on the native religions or spirituality of America, Africa, Eastern Asia, a wide variety. I just tend to click more with native spirituality. I feel like it's more earthy, more central, more about the experience.
Like Native American or just indigenous people, period?
Indigenous people.
Okay, indigenous. Okay, got it. Thank you so much for joining us, Ayana. All right, Joseph.
Hello, my name is Joseph Jenkins. I am a 38, soon to be 39 in a couple weeks. So if you want to send me birthday presents, go for it. I work in information technology, and I identify myself as spiritual, with some aspects of agnosticism, but I don't completely identify as agnostic. Other than spiritual, I don't really try to define what it is that I believe. I prefer to actually sit down and have a conversation with people so that they can kind of get a better understanding of why I believe what I believe versus what you want to call it.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. This is your second time.
Yes, it is.
Thank you so much for joining us again. All right. Oh, no.
My name is Nodio Day. Who's music on? Oh. It's like, no.
Okay, go ahead.
My name's Anodio Day Iwarie. Everyone calls me Ono, and I'm an atheist.
You're atheist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Real nice and simple.
Nice and simple. We're gonna need to define all of our belief systems in just a moment. But go ahead, Lakeisha.
I need a handheld mic. My name is Lakeisha Dixon. I'm the Breakthrough Strategist. I am a Christian, and I'm also an author.
Thank you, Lakeisha, for joining us. And how old are you?
Oh, I'm 37 years old.
37. Thank you for joining us. All right. And
Yes. Thank you for having me, first and foremost. Yes, I'm Lavelle. I identify myself as a spiritual man, not necessarily religious, if that makes sense. But I also identify as a Christian man. And I turned 39 on Tuesday, y'all.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
Hey.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. What do you do for a living, Lavelle?
I do emergency management.
Emergency management.
Right.
Okay. Lavelle, I like your body with a shade. Right. Thank you so much for joining us. All right, Candace, this is your second time on the show.
It is.
Thank you for joining us again. Introduce yourself,
Thank
please.
you. My name is Candace Smith. I am a holistic practitioner. I have a holistic practice where I help people to release things that no longer serve them and just to feel better. I do not believe in religion. I would consider myself more of a spiritual person, one that meditates on a regular basis and has a very strong connection with our higher power, which is God or a goddess or universe. I think it's all in the same. So.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. And I just want to make sure I clear the air that this show is not going to be about judging one person's belief over another. There's, you're all free to have whatever belief you have. This is just about helping other people to understand how to approach someone who may have your belief system and how you might approach other people with various belief systems. But there will be no judgment and
so
no.
we ain't fighting it out.
No, we are not. We are not fighting it out.
You could have said that before.
No, we're not fighting it out. Because because my particular belief is that there is just one God, and I'm gonna ask y'all the question. Who is God to you? That's my next question. So you could be thinking about that. But me personally, I believe there's one God. So whatever you call it, her, she, universe, Jesus, Muhammad, I believe there's one God. That's what I believe. So me personally, I don't have to place any judgment on anybody, one way or the other. So I'm going to ask you, what is God to you? How would you define God? Does God exist? Does God not exist? What does God mean to you? And again, no judgment, judgment-free zone. Okay, we can start with you, Candace, and go around this way.
So for me,
use your mic.
So for me, I would say God has so many different names, so many different. It's really how you identify with yourself. If you know yourself and if you're in tune with yourself, then you know God, because God is love. If you have love in you, unconditional love in you, then you are connected with that source. So many people separate because they want to identify what this source is when it's really love. And so for me, it's universe, it's God, it's higher power, it's self, it's God, it's whatever. It's all in the same to me, but just different names.
Okay, thank you so much. Lavelle, what is God to you?
Yes, to me, God is the reason for my entire existence, When I look back at my life and I look at the things that I've gone through and the things that I've been able to overcome, it's because of my faith. And faith is not an easy concept to grasp for a lot of people, because people we're all human.
Yes.
We like to be able to see what we, what we believe in. But faith is a different concept, right?
Of course.
And so when we believe something and when we see it come to fruition, that is something that's very powerful. God has been an amazing force in my life.
Absolutely.
So,
yes, definitely. Thank you for sharing. So for you, God is about faith. Is that that's what I heard? That is a very significant part of it. That's not it in totality, but that is a very significant part of it, though. Oh God. Okay. All right. Thank you, Lakeisha.
Great response. I like his response.
Well, he's single and he's Christian too.
We're working on it, right? God is very sacred to me. When I think of God, I think of the creation. I think of the one who created humans. I think of the one who created the earth. I think of the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending. I think of this big, amazing God who have given us a chance here. And so when I think of God, I think of love. I think of, like Lavelle said, faith is definitely one. I think of my reason for being, my reason for breathing, my reason for existing in this world. And so I know that there's a God. So that's where I'm at with it.
Okay, good. Thank you for sharing. And oh no.
All right, so I'm really I'm trying to find a way to say this where it doesn't come off offensive, right? So just before I say this is my personal belief, sure, and I don't judge anybody who believes differently than me. But for me, the concept of God is, it's a man-created concept. It's basically, it's primitive man's way of trying to explain the world lacking the science.
Right.
Trying to explain what they don't understand. So it's, Norse mythology, there's lightning happening. Well, Thor is going to war. Greek mythology, Zeus is throwing lightning bolts. The sun is moving because Apollo pulls it. And as societies become more and more complicated and more as they progress, their concepts of God progress in accordance. So primitive societies, you'll look at, they usually have their religion is like the sun god, the moon god,
Right.
and then as a society developed, then they start to have the god of wisdom, the god of this, the god, and then eventually society develops to the point where you had a Judeo-Christian concept of an overall god. So I think it's society's attempt to try to define and make some kind of meaning or order to something without having the knowledge or technology or skill set to figure out, what lightning is caused because the ions are out of, never mind. But anyways, without having the technology or understanding to grasp what's happening in the world. It's kind of like, have you ever, the analogy of the cave? Are you familiar with that? Where basically, so Socrates, he basically, let me know if I'm going too long, but so Socrates, he had this analogy of the cave where basically they had these people who had lived in this cave their entire life, and their heads were fixed to look at the cave wall. So there was fire behind them, and they were shadow puppets. There were shadows moving, and they thought the shadows were the real thing. Then one day, when they were able to turn around, they saw, oh, wait a minute, there's a fire, and this thing's moving in front of the fire, and that's what's making the image. So to me, religion is like looking at the shadows and trying and giving meaning to the shadows without understanding the fire behind you and the cause of the shadows.
So your belief sounds like it's more scientific, more logical, more that's not what happened. Whereas Lavelle might say, my faith in God shows me that, God made this happen. You might say, well, no, what happened is you did this, this, and this, and logically that's the reaction.
Right.
So it sounds like you're more logical.
Yeah, I'm like another thing, like Occam's razor. Basically, it's a belief where the simplest answer, the answer that requires the least steps, is probably the most likely answer. So is the tree fell down, did it fall down because it was old, or did it fall down because a giant Smurf came down and they had a laser fight and the lasers made the tree fall? Probably just because it fell down because it just fell down. It's whatever has the least steps is probably the more likely answer.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for sharing. And Joseph, because we call you Machete, so it's going to take me a minute.
That's fine. It's going to be a lot of pauses.
Right,
That's
when I say Joseph.
As I tell my friends, because friends that I have met at different stages of my life all have different names for me.
Oh, interesting.
So it's interesting when I'm in a house or any kind of confined space where I've got like people from like different stages of my life, and somebody says, well, yeah, we need to go find Joseph, and somebody who only knows me as, say, Machete is like, I don't know who that is. And one of my nicknames was also Furious. So there's a group of people who that's the only name that they know me by.
I don't see you like that.
Well, it's not because of anger.
Okay, we'll talk about that offline.
But yeah, so
okay, back to you.
Yeah,
okay, what is
Joseph,
God
I'm
to
call
you?
you Joseph.
That's fine. That's fine. No,
what is God to you?
So to me, God is the life-giving energy that has created the universe and all things around us.
Okay.
Is that life energy a being who sits upon a throne over paradise and is controlling the lives of people? I don't necessarily believe that, but I have no proof one way or the other. That's why I was like, I kind of lean, some of my beliefs are agnostic because I wholeheartedly believe that there is a creator, a higher power that we all come from, but I don't need proof of that. I have faith that that is what happened. I'm also a scientist, so I look at life from a scientific perspective, and there are just a lot of things where I'm like, science tells me this is how this works, and I can look at the scientific method and be like, yeah, that's what happens. And then somebody who's not well versed in science would say, well, no, God just made that happen. And they'll say, well, yeah, this, and this, and then we get to this point and we don't understand, and then they want to call that, I forget, what is it, the God of the gaps theory. Is we've got all these things we can explain, then we get to something we can't explain, and that's where people start inserting God.
And back to Ono's point, the more you know, the more you can say, no, this is what causes. So it's like as we're evolving, we know how things happen. Yep. But the part that we don't know is just, that's God.
One of my favorite scientists said that God is an ever-receding pocket of scientific ignorance, and as we gain more scientific knowledge, we fill in those gaps.
Who said that?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I knew it. That's my.
There you go.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm gonna tell y'all in a minute, but I'm hearing a lot of similarities to what everybody is saying at the end of the day. But let me catch you in Ayana, and then I'll share what I'm hearing. Go ahead.
So God, for me, first, I rarely use the term God. I think that God is the universal force, consciousness, or energy that connects all of us. It is the place from which we started. It's the place to which we will return. And I think we identify it and we call things forth from that universal consciousness, like forgiveness, like love, like honesty, like peace, like truth. I think we have the power. I think each one of us is like a drop in the ocean. So this universal force represents this ocean of unknown conscious forces and energy that work for our good. And each one of us as a drop in that ocean has the power to call that forth with our thought processes, with our emotional beings, with our beliefs, how we go about in the world. One of the things I strongly believe in is karma. What goes around comes around. I think that what you put out into the universe comes back at you. So you need to be very conscientious about that. And I think that for me, again, like I was saying, native religions or spiritualities tend to reflect that. They believe that you should experience it firsthand. That Buddha is good for this as well, but they're not considered a religion. But the idea is you experience it, therefore you know it, therefore you can call it forth again whenever you need to. So
and that goes back to Lavelle saying, I know that God works because he's come through for me before. So because he believes that, he can call forth again.
Yes.
So it's really the same thing.
Well,
in another way, you're gonna say that I'm pulling it from the universe because I believe it, because I'm thinking positively. Mm-hmm. I can call it to action. And he's gonna say because I'm believing it and I'm faithful to God that God's gonna answer my prayer. It's essentially the same thing.
Yes, because the same thing.
I think.
Karma,
well, some of it is
comes around. It's the same thing we believe in a word that
yes,
what you sow.
It's the
well,
same
some of it
thing.
is a little bit different in terms of the procedural, yes, the kind of didacticism that comes with it. You must do it this way in order for this to be. And again, I'm not trying to be offensive, but one of my biggest questions is when people say things like Jesus is the only way to salvation. Well, what did people do before Jesus?
Yes.
There's a logical fallacy. It's a force that I can recognize and see in other people, but the procedures, the policies, the practices that go along with it that are somehow required in order for you to channel it, I don't believe that. I think each one of us has to find that for ourselves, what will resonate with us. Like logic and rational thought resonate more with me than emotional. I can go to a church and I can listen to the word, or I can go to a synagogue and I can listen and be moved by a concept, but you're not going to find me shouting in the aisles. You're not going to find me, I don't know, like gospel music tends not to move me. Yeah. But I can read it and be moved to tears. Those kinds of things. So I think each person has a way of accessing that force. But what happens when people try to force it upon you, that's why I don't say I practice a specific religion, because organized religion, I have a lot of problems with it.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you, because for my belief, and I consider myself Christian, although my belief is probably more aligned to what Candace believes. I definitely believe in the laws of attraction. I definitely believe that you can speak things into existence, which is also in the Bible. So it really kind of is all this, to me, it's all the same. And I'm also, because I'm educated, I understand logic and understand A plus B equals C. So I'm not going to go, oh, no, that's not what really happened. God did it. If it's logical, that it's a logical answer, I'm going to go with the logical answer. So from my perspective, listening to everybody, you're all saying the same thing. You're just using different language. And I think that because I believe there's one God, and I think that religion is all people trying to understand God and understand the world and understand how life works, then we assign terminology and words and things that try to explain what we're experiencing. But at the end of the day, does everybody believe in love?
Yes.
Is there anybody, do you not believe in love?
I mean, what do you mean by that?
Love. Love. Is it real? Does it exist?
I mean, I think people have the emotion of love, but I guess.
Yeah, you believe in love.
You believe in love. Okay, yeah. So like, let me ask you this question. Is it wrong to kill somebody? If I go outside and just decide to shoot up the street, am I wrong for doing that?
Not necessarily. It depends.
So how do you assess right and wrong?
I mean, for me, I look at it as, let me get a mic.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that might help a little bit, right? But whenever you get the mic, you have to get like that cool voice, so it throws
like
me
Lavelle,
yeah. Nah, but
That is
oh, here, I'll just take this one.
No, it's in your face, so I want to move it. Okay.
Okay, here, we're gonna figure this out.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, to me, what rules, it basically comes down to what maintains order. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, we shouldn't kill, because if we kill others, then they can kill us. You know, so my thing is like, at the end of the day, you don't do it because, you know, it leads to anarchy.
The consequences.
Right.
But so with that being said, would you say that it's not a good thing to do, to go out and shoot folks?
It's generally a bad thing to do.
Okay.
There
so
are exceptions.
Agree.
There's exceptions.
Long way
Yeah.
home, but we all agree killing is wrong.
Okay.
Do we agree that stealing is wrong? Do you agree that? Stealing?
No,
If
and
I go
I'm
into your
feeling-
purse and just decide to take your wallet, is that okay?
I'm feeling oh no on this.
Yeah.
For me, I think we make these costs and benefits analysis all the time. We have agreed to participate in some way, shape, or form in society. And as participants in that society, there are certain rules that we have agreed to. But when society changes, I watch a lot of apocalyptic shows, y'all forgive me.
Walking
But
Dead.
if zombies were trying to come through, you know, then that
Yeah, I'm
changes.
taking all y'all out. Like,
That changes the dynamic of the cost benefit analysis because
So, okay, you're saying depending on the situation, then it's okay. I'm just gonna
if you're
say,
hungry.
Okay,
and-
in general. Okay, let me just break this down really small for y'all. In general, yeah, because y'all gonna take it
I will
somewhere else.
rob
'Cause
Walmart. I will rob
if my
Walmart.
child is hungry, I will kill for him. So I
Yeah.
get what you're saying, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about an extreme circumstance. I'm talking about just right now, just regular. In this moment, nothing's wrong. Is it wrong for her to go in my purse and take my money?
Your purse, yeah, that'd be wrong.
Okay, all right. Do we all agree that that's wrong?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's just because I like you, though.
But do you think it's okay if you, Dante, you don't know him? Is it wrong to pickpocket him? Is it wrong to take his money?
I don't know him. No, I was playing.
But is it
No,
wrong?
I'm joking. I'm
I
joking.
think we can all agree on basic
Yeah,
things
it's-
like
yeah.
stealing is wrong, killing
Yeah.
is wrong. You know, I think that, and to me,
I
that's
want
what.
you, Robbie. Take out my bills.
Well,
But-
my point is that because we can all agree on those universal, because in every religion those things are wrong, and morally, even if you don't have a religion, those things are not good to do.
Okay.
So I'm saying those basic things we all are united, right? We all believe in love. We think killing is wrong, stealing is wrong. So we have some commonality. Now,
Okay.
with that being said, let's transition. You're all single. You're dating.
Mm-hmm.
You meet somebody who has a belief system that's different from yours. Is that a deal breaker? Or under what condition would that be?
Are we gonna go in order, or?
We can go in the middle. We can start with you.
Oh, okay. I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, since
but well, I mean, I'm an atheist and I date black women, so pretty much I'm almost always gonna date someone with a different religion than me.
Most black women are what that you meet?
They're not atheists. They're usually yeah. The vast majority are Christian. Are coming to some. I think I've maybe one or two atheists, like very rare.
What's the difference between an atheist and a humanist? Because I've met somebody who was a humanist.
I mean, humanism really isn't religion. I mean, let me not speak on that because I really don't know.
Okay.
But like to me, it's people make up terms that like because they don't want to fit into whatever puzzles
Mold,
are already there. So they just like, oh, I'm a humanist because I believe in the greatness of humanity as a whole. That okay, what's that mean? It's
Okay.
more like a philosophical.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I've always been afraid of atheists until my friend Amina, I met her about 3 years ago. She's atheist. She's probably listening. And once I listened to it, growing up, grew up Christian,
Right.
Catholic school my whole life. So I was like, anybody who can look at this world and say there is no God, I don't know. I don't want to deal with that person because that's crazy. In my mind, it's crazy to think there is no God, period. Nobody created you. I just don't get it. But let me say, what I found in talking to people who are atheists is they're very smart and very logical. And I can support that. And I can go, well, that makes sense. And I can go, well, that's logical. So I can rock with an atheist without believing what you believe.
Right. Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. I don't get it. Like,
Right.
I wouldn't do it, but I get where you're coming from. Like, I can't.
I get it.
I don't want to be.
I ain't gonna do it.
I love God. and maybe it's because of how I've been conditioned and growing up. I love God. I love the concept of God. I cannot just walk away and say there is no God. But I get it. I get
And
what
the thing
you're
is, it's
saying.
sometimes even for atheists, it's like making that step is because I grew up in the church. I grew up Baptist. My godfather was the minister of the church. I was in Sunday school every Sunday, and the whole time my entire life, I'm like, this don't make no damn sense.
You never believed it.
I tried to believe it. I tried to force myself to believe it up
You
until
didn't believe anything about it?
the more I learned about it, the less it made any sense. Like the older I got, the less any of it made sense.
There is a lot of things. I'm going to tell you, because I used to be traditional Christian too, and there are a lot of things that don't make any sense. Right. There are a lot of things that people are just doing out of tradition, and it's not logical. Okay, so I'll rock with you on that. Yeah. But just to say, there's just no God. I'm not ready for that.
Takes, and the thing is for a long time I tried not to. I mean, I looked at other religions. I tried to talk myself. I would try. No, I tried to rationalize and try to make myself. I mean, I was a Mason. I mean, I was still a Mason, but I was an active Mason. You have to believe in God to be.
So it's God you
have to. Yeah, you have to believe in God. So it's like, I mean, it's I'm like, well, dang, I'm about to leave my organization. I'm like, it really was. I really
struggled with it.
And even
you're an Omega, so that's.
You don't need to be.
Because for Deltas, it's a Christian. It's founded on Christian principles.
Well, see, but the thing is this. So most Black Greek organizations, they say they're founded on Christian principles, but if you look at the word Christian, the way it was used back then, it didn't literally mean belief in Christ. Christian was used interchangeably for good. So it's good moral principles. It's not that that's a Christian.
We'll take that offline.
Because that's why
we'll take that offline. But to answer my question.
But as far my bad. Sorry, I apologize.
So you said most of the women you meet are not atheists. And so it's not a deal breaker for you, but has it been a deal breaker for them?
It's been a deal breaker for some. Like I tend not to go with like Bible thumpers. So like if you're a biblical literalist who
that's
like
not gonna work.
We wouldn't even have anything, even if you would date me, because some have wanted to. But I'm like, I can't. Your thought process is too different for us to be romantically involved. But like, but there's been times where it has been a deal breaker, but it's like after the fact, because it's like everybody assumes that I believe in something. Because you're a nice person, you must believe so. So no one ever asks that question. What do you believe in? So it's like, I mean, literally, like I've dated people where like 2-3 months into it, like you done slipped over my house like every day this week, doing cardinal sin. But having sex, breaking your biblical beliefs. You know what I'm saying? But then that cracks me up. But then all of a sudden we have a conversation. Oh my God, I can't see you. It's like, well, it's too late now, sweetie.
Well, you already had sex with me, so you might as well continue.
I'll be like, bye.
But let's go. Okay, Lakeisha.
Yeah. So it's not a problem.
Okay, for you.
It's a deal breaker.
It's a deal breaker.
It's a deal breaker. Automatically. I'm sorry. I am a firm believer of the Christian beliefs. I believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I serve God and I pray in Jesus' name. And so for me, I have had conversations with Muslims because Muslim men are very attracted to me.
What is that about?
I don't know what it's about, but I have met a lot of Muslim men.
You give off an inner Muslim vibe.
For real, I do?
Yeah.
Her inner Muslim? Yeah, she has chocolate skin, yes.
Yeah, that's probably that pretty dark skin, baby. And so what I find out about Muslim belief, when it comes to the men that I have talked to, it's fine for me to be a Christian. The thing is, they believe that I will fall in love with them and I will convert. Yeah. And so when they realize I'm 100% sold out, baby, it's nothing you can tell me, right? And so I respect who Lakeisha Dixon is. And just like I respect everyone at this table and their belief, my Christian belief is what I believe. And so I'm sold out. And that means I'm a 37-year-old virgin. That's how sold out I am. I am waiting on the promises of God.
So with you being a virgin, and you're waiting until marriage,
yes,
right?
Yes, I am.
Even with Christian men, because these Christian men today ain't.
Listen, I dated pastors who was a joke,
right?
And so it has nothing to do. I judge a man based on his character. So he doesn't have to be a virgin and a minister like I am. He just have to have some character, and we have the same religion. I would prefer to date a man who believes in Jesus Christ and God as his Lord and personal Savior. And so
a Catholic would be okay.
No, I do not want to date a Catholic.
But Catholics are Christian.
Yeah, but I prefer a Christian man.
They're Christian. You mean
Protestant?
I
don't. Yes.
You mean Protestant?
Yes, I don't.
So you don't date Christians, you date Protestants.
Yes.
Protestant.
Now what about Baptists?
That's a Baptist or Protestant.
Yeah,
So basically
but
you want the
I
exact
don't
same
like the
religion.
tradition. So I don't
What
believe
denomination are you?
non-denominational.
So you would prefer that he also be non?
Yes.
See, because this is
Yes.
the thing. Y'all are going from Christian to denomination.
Well,
Which
here's the
become-
thing.
which
Here's the
makes your
thing.
fool, like,
Which is like you go to
There's-
this church
yes.
on this street.
There's a lot of things
confusing
that I don't
organization,
believe in. Like, women don't supposed to wear pants. I'm a minister who wear pants. And so you have, women don't wear lipstick and earrings. Clearly I beat my face every day. And so there's some things that I don't practice, but when it comes to who I serve, I need to know that man believe in Jesus Christ. I mean, a lot of men who just believe in God, but they don't believe in Jesus Christ. I believe in Jesus Christ, and so I want him to believe in God and Jesus Christ.
all right, Lavelle.
Yeah, I mean,
You meet a woman, she's beautiful, smart,
Right.
great job,
Right.
got it going on. She doesn't have any kids, because I know how you are. You
Right,
want somebody with no kids.
right.
She's all those
Get that
things.
thing popping.
She's fine as wine, as your water.
Thank you, sir.
And she says, I'm not a Christian. Is that a deal breaker?
I mean, right off the bat, I wouldn't necessarily say that it's a deal breaker right off the bat, because I think I'm a very lenient type of guy. You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by I say I'm spiritual and not religious, because I don't necessarily need all of the tradition. I don't need the step one, step two. You feel what I'm saying? My thing is that it's like, I've always viewed life as this journey, right? And so if we're going to travel together, it's vital that we be traveling in the same direction. You know what I mean? They say, they have this phrase that says a family that prays together stays together, right? Well, that phrase doesn't just speak to, the actual praying together. That phrase talks to learning how to walk together on this journey, right? And so guess what? One thing about life is that we will always continue to grow, right? But guess what? If we're not growing together, then we're growing apart. So how can we be in this union if we're not traveling on the same path? I don't really see that happening for me. You know what I mean?
So it sounds like it is a deal breaker.
No,
Because
it's
you're
not
saying that she's
necessarily a
not gonna be
deal
on the
breaker,
same
because
journey.
If she gets on your page, it's cool.
sometimes people,
Grow
because
to that
sometimes
point.
people, a union can build a person. You know what I'm saying? A union can change a person. In
Are you
some
looking
ways,
for
you
her
know?
to change to become more Christian?
I think sometimes if she is,
Yes, that's what it sounds like.
well,
If she was like, listen,
I mean, it's
I
not
grew
like you
up
on
in the
TV
church.
or the internet or
Yeah,
anything.
just be honest.
It's just us right here.
No, it's everybody. But let me ask you this question, because Lavelle, it sounds like you're saying she might evolve, and maybe she's not Christian today, but she's going to be tomorrow. But let's say she says, listen, I grew up in the church. My daddy was a pastor. I've been there, done that. I've learned about it. I don't like it. That's not for me. I know that I do not want to be a Christian.
well, what I'm saying is that I wouldn't necessarily cut her off right off the bat. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Just eventually.
I would give her an opportunity to maybe
Convert.
show me something different. Yeah, show me
He's trying
something
to convert
different.
him. Like
Show me
those
something.
Muslim men do it.
But it
I
might
mean,
show
but
me
ain't
something
nothing wrong with
different,
that, though.
you know?
That's it.
Show me something
That's
different.
as long as
you know?
But you know,
I'm not, you know.
no,
And
women
you're
are
right.
women
You're
are
right.
easier to convert.
Wait, what?
Yes, they are.
What?
Yes.
Y'all the only
But
ones
I'm
going to
hoping,
church. What
but
are you talking about?
I'm hoping that once she
That's
sees
another
how,
discussion.
you
We'll
know,
talk about that.
I'm hoping that once she sees how I change her life, she might be ready to make that move. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So let me so Lavelle, so it could potentially be a deal breaker.
Potentially, right?
Okay.
Potentially,
All
but
right.
I'm not saying that's what I said. Not necessarily right
Off the bat. Okay.
right? You know what I'm saying?
Candace, you meet this guy. He is fine as May wine. He's a doctor. He's doing it. Got it going on. He says, I know you believe in laws of attraction and meditating and affirmations and all that, but I don't believe in all that stuff. Is that a deal breaker?
No, it's fine. Like, so for me, I'm so accepting of everybody. I don't care what religion you are, just as long as you're a good person. So I'm really, the thing is, I'm attracted to energy. I'm attracted to character. I'm attracted to how you carry yourself. So if you have a good relationship with yourself, know yourself, if you love yourself, if you're happy, because I meet so many Christians and people who, Jesus, and this and that, who just are so unhappy, and they're miserable. Oh, that's good.
No, she was just saying that she meets
I'm just saying, like, I meet a lot of people, And that's from every.
Y'all look crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
The
I'm
Bible
happy.
thumpers, I get it, Candy.
We know.
That's
I know
happy
what you
that
mean.
I'm happy that you're happy, but what I'm saying is that as long as you're happy and you know who you are and you're comfortable with who you are and you are a good person and you treat me well and you respect me, as long as you're not sacrificing children, then I'm all about just as long as you love yourself, because if you love yourself, you can love me. So I'm not really.
It doesn't matter.
The religion to me is not. I don't care what the religion is. Just as long as you know who you are.
That's
like
beautiful.
that
All right, we'll go
I really like that
to
answer.
Ayana and back then to Machete. Okay, Ayana, you believe in the belief system of indigenous people, and you meet this guy. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but I am not rocking with that. That is not for me. Is that a deal breaker?
It's not a deal breaker for me. Because what I'm looking for, it's not a deal breaker for me, but I think it would be a deal breaker for him. I think that the notion that there could be this level of openness, what I'm looking for is that open individual. I'm one of the original free spirits, so you might find me running through the woods, or you might find me in a power suit in a courtroom. I ain't say nothing about that. Watch yourself.
That is where my mind went immediately.
Well, she's an attorney. She can't just be
Yes, you can. Attorneys could be naked too.
in the courtroom.
Oh, not in the courtroom.
Oh, I'm like,
I'm talking about in the woods.
Okay, Lord.
I don't know. It went all the way. It went all the way left.
She said naked, and guys are just like, ooh, naked, naked.
That's all I heard.
That's all they heard.
So for me, it's not a deal breaker. What would be the deal breaker would be judgmentalness or rigidity, inflexibility, the inability to see any other person's perspective or viewpoint. Because as I said, I think that the universal conscious, I think it speaks to everybody in a way that they can receive it.
Okay.
I think people get their lessons when they're supposed to get them, and it's not for anybody else. So for you to tell me that I have to be a certain way, you're teaching me your lesson, but that's
Versus
not
your
necessarily what I'm supposed to get.
Let me ask you this: is there a church that you attend, or a group of people who believe what you believe too, or you just? How did you get to this? Because I've never even heard your belief.
So my mother is an atheist and
Okay.
was an atheist. She's actually in the church now.
But when you were growing up,
when I was growing up, she was an atheist. But it wasn't. I think some people think atheists are angry, and so it wasn't like I hate God. It was just I have not seen the evidence of God in my life, and I'm not willing to believe in the unseen. So that's kind of how I was raised. And then I went to school in the South, the Bible Belt, and my boyfriend of 3 years, he was. Can you say a devout Baptist? Is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he would bring me to church. He would buy my church clothes, and he would introduce me in the whole nine. And I would
he was
sit.
doing what Lavelle trying to do.
Right, he trying to convert me. I feel like you can go.
I'm gonna love you into the church.
Hey, let me put you on a little bit of this God
Right.
quick, baby. You know what I mean?
Everybody put on this dress and
you
take
know
to
what I mean?
church.
Let me put you a little bit of, you know what I mean?
Let me lay my
So
hands
I
on
think
you.
I
We'll
think
get
that
straight.
God exists anywhere that we can congregate as well as at any place that we're open. So I'm like, yes, let's go on Sunday. That would be fine. But it never resonated with me. But as long as he was okay with understanding that I'm not suddenly going to be baptized, that I believe what I believe, and I can take pieces from what I learned in that church. And then I came here to school, and there was an organization on campus that focused on
You went to Clark
African
Atlanta
spirituality.
with
Mhm.
me, okay.
Yes, and I don't remember you at all.
No, because I'm a little younger.
But you wait. Whoa.
I'm just saying that.
Wait,
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
I'm just a little younger.
wait, so I'm the oldest person here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
sorry.
think you are.
Yes.
Ona.
Wow.
How old are you?
43.
Yeah, you are older.
Yeah, y'all need to respect your elders then. Okay, go ahead.
Lord. Anyway.
Shout out to my Clark Atlanta people out there, man. We love y'all,
All right.
man.
Go ahead, Ayana.
So when I came here,
The
there was
tree people, that's what we used to call them, but I know it's Nzinga. I know it has a real name, but that's what we said on campus.
yes, the tree people.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Tree
What is
people.
that?
It's based in West African spiritual practices.
What do you
So
mean, trees and
there's
They
a
would
master.
be, yes.
There, where we would meet on campus was this huge tree that was in the center. And the tree represented kind of the cycle of life with the roots, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, and every person has a part to play. So being at the tree reminded you that every person has a part to play, from ancestors to newborn babies.
Oh,
It
I
is
like that a lot. Does that still happen?
The tree is gone,
But the people are
but the
still-
people, we still meet there. We still meet there.
When I was on campus, they would be shaving their head and they would have this little, like a toga on. They would be gathered around the tree.
Ultimately, it's a rites of passage,
okay.
right?
That's
because
what I
one of the things
saying. I'm like, okay, the tree people. Those are the tree people. That's all I remember.
One of the things that we believe is that you go through transitions in your life, and they should be marked. They should be significant, and that Western civilization has kind of lost that ideology. That's why we have these teens who are kind of in the middle. They're not babies. They're not adults. They don't have the responsibilities. They don't have a clear-cut path. But you get these rites of passages, which a lot of native traditions have, that clearly mark where you're going and what your expectations are. You are a man now. That means that you are responsible for this portion of the universe.
Okay, so that you have a group of people who also believe what you believe.
Similar. It's not exactly the same because there are Christians in that group.
Okay.
There are people who practice Judaism. There are people who are Buddhists. The one thing you can't be is atheist.
No one likes us. It's okay.
You can't be a tree people.
I was so going with you.
But
too.
there's so much dialogue, right? Because the idea is you discover it for yourself. And that's what I love about it. And then once I left college, I began studying Buddhism, and that resonated with me. But again, I don't believe that Buddhism is a religion.
Right.
I believe it's a way of thinking about life.
Right.
But it resonated with me. And so at a certain point, I dated a Muslim man, and I tried to,
You converted?
I did not. It didn't resonate. I'm like I said, I'm the original free spirit. So I'm gonna go where my spirit moves me.
Yes.
And I have to have that freedom. I have to have that freedom.
Peace is not gonna happen.
And so and I think that's what makes it a deal breaker for some men, because they confuse protection with control. You're not going to control me. Right. But if you have my best interest at heart, I'm going to listen to your wisdom. Wow. That's different.
Deep, right?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm on. And that's what I'm hoping
going out
at.
later. Come on.
You going out, but he gonna bring you to church.
Right. You gonna buy me that dress.
You can take us to church.
Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Oh, Lord. Machete. I can't deal with Lavelle.
Not today.
Lavelle is not. You hear me?
This is a new man.
He's still celebrating his birthday.
Yeah, he don't turn 39.
All right. Machete, you're agnostic, spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You meet a woman. She's not
Mm-hmm.
agnostic or spiritual. Mm-hmm. She's a Christian, hardcore, fundamental Muslim, or something else. How do you respond? Is that a deal breaker?
Nope.
You're open?
Yep.
Anything else you want to say
more
to
than
elaborate?
this
I'm like, what is he doing? What
Well, no. Okay, so no. To me, the difference in our religious beliefs, no, it is not a deal breaker for me. Much like Ayana, it ends up being a deal breaker for the other person, because I've dated Christians, I've dated Muslims, I've dated atheists, and at the end of the day, part of our breakup was that I didn't believe the way they believed. Mm-hmm. And I'm okay with that. We go our separate ways, we take what we learn from each other, and we move on, and we apply those things in other areas of our life. But that's why I was like, no, the simple answer to your question is no, it's not a deal breaker. I'm willing to sit down and break bread with almost anybody as long as what you believe is not rooted in my oppression. If what you believe is rooted in my oppression, I don't respect you or what you believe.
Okay. I'm gonna read some of these comments from our Facebook friends, and it's a lot of comments, y'all. I can't read them all, but I'm gonna try. All right, so Christopher Edwards says, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, atheist, man, woman, doesn't matter. Who are you as a human being? Because who you are will only determine how you treat me. Your God cannot make you do right by me. Your true character determines that. I think I agree with you.
That's like what she said.
And that's what I said about the character of a man.
Yeah, character is important. What'd you say, Candace?
That's what
Candace said. Yes, yeah. Candace said the same thing.
But doesn't character come from a man's beliefs? What he feels, you know what I'm saying?
Character.
What if he's a Satan? What
if you have to get your
worshiper?
If your character is determined by what you read, that's a problem. I don't need you to read a scripture to know to do right.
Of course.
You need to know in your heart this is right or wrong to do.
You have people from all religions who say they one religion and they a bunch of mess.
So I have to throw in a sci-fi reference here because Doctor Who says this. He says, a good man doesn't need rules. You should be worried about the man that has to be bound by rules because he doesn't have any other measure to go by. But a good man doesn't have to be governed by rules. He already does right.
You know the right thing to do, not because you're afraid of some judgment, but because it's just I don't want to do it. Right? The moral compass. That's being an adult. That's being a man of good character, integrity. Those qualities I care about, regardless of your church or
Because
whatever.
the only reason you're not killing babies is because I'll go to hell.
I'll go to hell. That's a problem.
You got some issues. You know?
And because the minute we remove this, what are you gonna do?
Right. And it should be much deeper than that anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. We shouldn't be sitting here saying, okay, well, if I date this person will not have, won't have any character, because you can meet people who I used to sit by atheists. My boss set me by atheists for 6 months.
Was that intentional?
Did you think you were in spiritual warfare?
That's why she
tell the
gets to me
truth.
now.
Not at all.
Okay, I'm just
we
saying.
had a great time.
Were
And
you-
he was even open to coming to my church.
Were you
And he
put
was Indian.
Were you put next to him
like that,
intentionally?
I was.
Because of the difference.
Because nobody else could not deal with him.
Okay.
And they knew that I was a person of peace.
Now at work, are you the type? Are you the type of person that posts scriptures and stuff at your desk and all?
No, but at 11 o'clock, I used to say my confessions.
Out loud?
Yeah.
So everybody can hear?
Okay,
Oh, that's fun.
I don't think everybody wants to hear.
I might have to come out. We might have to go to lunch.
Listen, they were not Jesus confessions, though.
Were you saying like, I am powerful, I am, you say I'm spiritual, I am wealthy.
Listen, but my personality was so full of energy, my co-workers wanted to listen so they can say it too.
Girl.
The atheists, everybody.
Ma'am, I'm just
Honey,
gonna keep it
ma'am,
moving.
I used to not lie like I am powerful, not like that, but just
Okay.
at my desk because it was cubicle. I am
Okay,
beautiful,
you are
know.
so funny to me.
Yeah,
We're gonna keep it
No
moving.
shame.
All right, let me say this. There was a time in my life where I was dating this guy, and he was probably like I believe now. He didn't believe in Jesus. He did not believe in Jesus at all. But he was a guy of integrity and character. He would jump through hoops for me. But one day, we had been together like a year before he told me, and we would pray together. He was just my everything. And one day he said, "Shay, I need to tell you, I do not believe in Jesus." And we broke up just like that because where I was at that moment, I couldn't see beyond. How can you not believe in Jesus? And I broke up with him. Today, would I make that same decision? No. And what I've learned is, if I'm talking to you, the more I talk to you, I can hear. If I call this Jesus, I hear Jesus and everything everybody else is saying too. So I can go, okay, I can deal with that. Where I was at that moment, as soon as he said he didn't believe in Jesus, we were done. I was like, oh, we're unequally yoked. I can't do it. And that's because that's all I had been exposed to. As you talked about before, the more we know, the more we understand and we relate differently. And I actually apologized to him before I started my current relationship. I did like a karma cleanse and contacted all of my exes and just wanted to say, listen, I just want to make sure we don't have any, ill feelings towards each other. And I reached out to him and I said, my belief system now is more metaphysical. I do believe I affirm things in life. I speak things into existence. Those are the kinds of things he taught me when we were dating. And I just dismissed him because he didn't believe in Jesus. And I went back and apologized to him. And I said, listen, thank you, because who I am today, and I live my life in faith, like you talked about. I manifest things all the time, like he shared with me. And I dismissed him because he said he didn't believe in Jesus. And I apologized to him. I asked him to forgive me. He said he did. And he's married now. I'm in a great relationship. It's all good. But I wanted to clear that up.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, sit down and have a conversation with him and find out what you believe.
Yes, don't start with the surface thing, because I think sometimes, and this is just me offering my opinion. This man, did he love me? Absolutely. He loved me so deeply. I wish y'all could have seen. If I could just take a snapshot of the way he loved me, you would have been like, "Oh my gosh, you let him go." I did, and I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it at all, and that's something I did apologize to him for, because he did love me. Everybody who knew him knew that, but I was so wrapped up in what I had been taught, and if he don't believe in Jesus, he going to hell, and y'all unequally yoked, and how can two walk together unless you are agreed? And all these scriptures I grew up with, that I said absolutely not, because truthfully, you judge a person by their fruit. at the end of the day, I can give myself whatever title I want to give. I can say whatever at the end of the day, but my fruit tells you who I am. And when I look at his fruit was righteous. And that's what I really should have gone by, his fruit. In my current relationship, my man is not religious. If you ask him, he'll probably say he's Christian. But he don't like to go to church with me. He's not religious at all. But his fruit is righteous. And that's what attracts me, is your heart, your character. Now, if I say, look, baby, I'm going through, I need you to pray for me, he prays for me. And I need that. If I need to be able to tell you to pray for me and know that you're going to pray for me. That's important to me. But he's not up in church every Sunday, praise the Lord. No, that's not how he rolls. And I'm okay with that today. But I had to grow to that point, because that was a time. I mean, I really let somebody go, because he said, I don't do the Jesus thing. And I was like,
to me, it's all fear.
It is fear.
So for me, like, I know that I grew up as a Christian, and that's my home. Actually, my father, he's a bishop, he's a minister, he runs a church.
Right?
And so he feels like my calling is to be a prophetess in church.
You are a prophetess. You
not,
prophesy all the time.
But I'm not gonna be. Yeah. But that's she not who I am.
She really does.
But that's not my thing, though. You know, it's like I went through my spiritual awakening at 27 years old, and I was so afraid, because I'm like, the devil's gonna. It's the devil. You know, like for me to be able to experience the things that I'm experiencing, because in church I didn't learn that. And it just didn't resonate.
I went back about manifestation.
I went back and forth, and I was like, "This must be the devil. It must be evil." And I allowed fear to hold me back for so long. But when I stepped outside of my box, my whole entire life changed. It flourished, and everything that I needed to healed.
Yes.
I was happy for the first time in my life.
Yes.
Like, I mean, it was just an amazing thing once I stepped outside of that box, and I see so many people who are trapped in that box, and they only know those four walls, and that's all they're ever going to know, because they're afraid to step out of that box. And it's very unfortunate.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with you. And I will say that you know how my belief system. And yes, I grew up traditional Christian, and I'm able to manifest things in my life today because of my belief system. It's called New Thought. That's the name of it. But I wish traditional Christianity learned that, because it's biblical. Learn to not just say it, not just pray it, but make it happen.
I can speak about that.
Yes.
I would like to share, because as a Christian woman, there has been a lot of manifestations in my life too. I do believe in calling those things that be not as though they were.
Yes.
I believe that if I decree a thing, it will be established.
Absolutely.
And I have seen God do miraculous work for me. I mean, I have been healed from a cancerous tumor in my breast, through praying and really believing that it was going to be done. And it was done in 5 days. And so I believe, like I tell people, for me, when people say a traditional Christian, I think of, how we was taught in old school. Of course, we live in a generation where people are wiser, they are smarter, they are studying for themselves. When we look at the way we were taught, we're looking at probably people who could not even read, interpreting the Bible as what they were taught from people who couldn't read. I think now, for me, as a Christian, reading the Word, understanding the Word, and applying the Word, I see miraculous things. I can go to the hospital and believe. I have been to a hospital and prayed with people and their children and their issues, and they have been healed. And so I think it's really where you are in your Christianity, and as far as being free, because I took a 2-year break from church like 4 years ago. I didn't go to church for 2 years because I began to get to know the heart of God. And so when we talk about that, that Christian woman, I'm not the one who's rounding the streets with picket fence saying you're going to hell. I don't operate like that. I just believe that there is a God, and God gave his only begotten son for my life. And so when it comes to words of affirmation, Candace, I really agree with you on that. I believe in speaking. And so when we speak words of faith, speak words to existence, we see results.
Absolutely.
And so also with faith without works is dead. Yes. And so we have to apply ourselves. And so when we say traditional Christian, I'm not what they call the traditional Christian who just pray and sit Indian style thinking God is getting ready to drop this bag of money in my lap. And so I do believe in the action work. And so this is a great dialogue. I'm happy I'm here.
Great. Thank you for sharing. And let me read some of these comments, because we got so many comments from our Facebook friends. Wow. All right. So Daryl Chamberlain says, I don't know about that. People generally don't just start having character. They had to have training when they were young. Key Rankin says, from the power of Grayskull. Okay, I might have missed his point.
The power of Grayskull.
Let me go.
He-Man, really?
You talking about He-Man?
Really, He-Man?
Is that from He-Man?
He-Man.
Somebody, one of y'all must have said something that he thought was from the power of Grayskull. Like,
No, that was when you were shouting. That's when you were doing your confessional, screaming out, "I have the power."
Oh,
that's what that's from.
okay.
That's where that came from.
Thank you.
Well, that was funny. This took a minute to get it. Yeah.
I gotta look him up.
Nicole said, if you don't believe in Jesus, we're done, but we can be friends only. Nicole Lindsay also said, if a person is not praying for themselves, they can't pray for me. And Key Rankin says, I agree. Daryl. Angela Michelle Davis says, my belief, religious, isn't a part of who I am. It's all that I am. So you can't dismiss my belief and be with me. We can all be good people without religion, but by whose standards? The problem is that it's a part of us, in my opinion, that matters. Stacy is my cousin. Stacy says, based on my beliefs, whenever you have a strong personal relationship with God, there is nothing that can eradicate or annihilate his word. If God speaks into existence or appoints a specific union and both individuals are receptive to his word, it is perfect in his sight. Chantel says, I agree with Angela. Walter, I think this is another language. He put viandi pate. I don't know what that means.
You know what
English.
What is that?
Well, because I'm African, I know other language.
I don't know.
You mean that's not true?
All the science.
You mean that's not true?
Right, it has to be something.
I'm just reading what
It's like, your
these people
name's so
saying.
messed up, you
It
must
sounds
understand
Latin,
everything.
Because you have a different culture. I don't know. But Willie says, I totally agree. Religion deals with division. Whenever you have a religion, there's a certain set of guidelines or rules that go along with that religion. Khadija, who is Muslim, says religion definitely plays a part. Who is Ifruru?
That's me.
Oh, okay. Patricia said, Ifruru, you look great. I'm like, who is Ifruru? Because nobody told me that was their name.
Oh,
That was the name I received in the rites of passage. It means that's funny. It means daughter of heaven.
wow.
That's beautiful.
So that's like your spiritual name.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's beautiful. I like that.
Dion says, so true. People make up terms. Khadija says, it's not a total deal breaker. However, a certain belief system, diet, and mindset must exist to be considered long-term.
She said diet?
Diet. Well, she's Muslim, so I'm assuming you don't eat pork.
Oh, okay.
Khadija, please come back and explain. Okay, if you're
I'm
Muslim.
like, I go to McDonald's. It means I'm ruled out. Like,
Yeah, let me tell you, my man went to McDonald's when we met, and he's off that junk now. That is junk. That is not real food. You need to upgrade.
But that apple
man,
but
I'm
that
about to go
apple
get
pie
me a
is
Big
tasty.
Mac rice. I'm joking. Yo, I'm
Leave
joking.
here and go across the street.
I'm about to go right.
That's some crap.
No, don't go to that.
I don't go
Don't
to
that
that
one.
one.
That was real
I ain't
crap.
going that
I'm
one.
gonna go
Go
get
to the
some
one on the
wings.
north side.
That's donkey
Khadija,
meat.
so my question
Donkey
to
meat
you
over
is,
there.
you being Muslim and not eating pork, if you met a man who ate pork, is that a deal breaker for you? Like, I mean, because I'm sure you have a meaning behind pork and what it means. So answer that for me. Dion says, yes, the same here, Shay. I used to be afraid of atheists. I thought they were synonymous with devil worshippers. I think a lot of Christians think that. Did you grow up
We're
thinking
just
like,
so funny because it's the exact opposite. Because we don't even think the devil's real. So
I
how
don't
can we
think the
worship
devil
it?
is real either.
Yeah.
And it's a funny thing. I'm gonna tell you, I only believe in God. I only believe in God. I don't believe in anything negative.
So
I
no
only
yang
believe
to the
in
yin?
good. I only believe in good. I only believe in God. I only believe in God. And I think God is the most powerful power there is. So there is not necessary for me to believe in something else if I believe in the most powerful thing possible. That's my belief. But anyway, so at growing up, I thought that atheists were evil. Like, oh, he's atheist. No, get away from me. But as I've talked to more atheists, I go, oh, he's not the devil.
Did you grow up in the Bible Belt, Shay?
I'm from here. What you think?
I know.
I grew up Baptist, tambourine, fan shaking, yes. So definitely.
Because I grew up Southern Baptist. I always say there are four things: Christian, Southern, Baptist, and Black. You change any one of those four things for any other, like Northern or Western, you get a completely different experience. Yeah.
I mean, I'm from upstate New York, so it's like moving down here.
It's a big shift.
Yeah, I was like, this is like a different planet. Like as far as like religion being so important and like
it is
it's
everything.
like I said, I was telling them earlier today. Like my sister is married to a Jewish guy, and she is Catholic, but we grew up Baptist. So it wasn't
it was just everything was just it was more tolerant. Like even with me being an atheist, it never became an issue to anyone until I moved down here.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be.
And then here it's like
right, because
like
it's new. It's
me.
new for people. That's definitely for Black people.
Yeah.
But I do believe. I believe that all of us, everybody on the planet, can definitely. And this is not a plug for my book, but I really believe there's a lid for every pot. I really do. I think that there is somebody for everybody, and I don't want anybody to. No matter if you are extreme with your belief, and he's got to be this or she's got to be that, or you're open. I still believe you can have what you desire. You can have your heart's desire. For a lot of people, it's about raising your children. I see a lot of people who say. I need him to be Christian because I want to raise my children in the church. And if he's not Christian, how are we going to do children? So let me ask you all, for those of you who said it wasn't a deal breaker, if he had a different, or he or she had a different religion, how would you raise the children if he or she had a different religion?
Well, that would be me.
Okay.
Because I have 2 kids.
You have 2 kids. Is your wife, was your ex-wife?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't do that.
Sorry. Is your ex-wife atheist?
No. She's Christian.
And she was Christian when you met?
She's Christian when we met.
And you were atheist when you met?
No.
Oh, you were Christian when y'all met?
I told you I was going through that struggle.
Oh, so this is a new thing.
Right. Well, you got to remember, like, I was married for 18 years.
Yes.
So I was, like, young when we met. When
You've evolved in life.
I loosely, I never said I was Christian. Back then, I probably was closer to agnostic. I was like, there's something out there, I just don't know what it is.
That's what Machete said.
Right. That's where I was, like, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Right. And that's where I was until, to my almost around 29, 30. That's when I really was like, I don't believe in none of this. Let me stop lying to myself. So, but it wasn't an issue. As far as raising the kids, God, this is going to sound so offensive. But I really didn't. When they were young, I wasn't worried about it because, like, the analogy is like Santa Claus. Mm-hmm. Okay, a lot of young kids believe in Santa Claus. Right. They have like the magical thinking, but like I know, when they get older,
like 12 or 13, you realize it's not really a Santa
Claus.
It's
and that's kind of how I looked at it. So if you want to go ahead and you want to go, pray to this or pray to that or whatever, that's fine. It doesn't bother me with the kids. And then the thing is, my outlook is, I'm going to raise my children to be independent thinkers,
right?
And then they can decide for themselves,
right?
Because I might be wrong. I mean, I totally do not believe there's a God, but I could be wrong, So I mean, I don't want to force my views on someone else.
Right.
So my kids can, they're independent thinkers. They can figure it out for themselves. Like I feel like if you feel the need to force your children to believe what you believe, it's problematic, in my opinion.
All right. So for you, do your children go to church?
My daughter goes. Periodically she would go, and then she does like vacation Bible school and stuff like that, and my mother and my sister would take her to church occasionally. My son, he's older, he's like 19, so he's at the researching different religions, and I don't know what, like, Christianity doesn't make sense to me, but I'm gonna look to see what else. So he's kind of doing his own thing.
Okay.
Even if I tried to force religion on him, it wouldn't work because he's
at a different
he's
place.
My child, so just
he's like you.
Yeah. So.
All right.
And
let me ask. Sorry to cut you off. Let me ask Machete. You met somebody. Mm-hmm. She's not agnostic. She's Christian. She's fundamental Christian. We got to go to church every Sunday. Mm-hmm. Children. Mm-hmm. What are you gonna do with them?
I believe in providing the children with exposure to as many different things as possible. If she wants to provide a united front where we take our kids to church, I'm not opposed to that.
You would go as well?
I would go as well. I would.
I love him. He's just such a sweet guy.
I am the person who I'm going to teach my children to think. Mm-hmm. I'm going to teach my children to question everything. Mm-hmm. If I tell them to do something and it sounds stupid, I want them to say, well, Dad, but how about this, this, and this?
Still do it, but...
no, not necessarily. I was raised in a household where, boy, don't you ask no damn questions, you do what I told you to do. Right. I'm not, if I have any kids, I just can't be that way with my kids because it's so counter to what I believe.
Do you have kids right now?
No, I don't.
Okay.
None that I know about.
But I'm like him. I'm like you in that regard. Like, my mom was always like, my mom's thing was, don't lie to me, right? So if she told me to do something and I didn't really want to do it, I could say, Mama, I'm not comfortable with that. And she would say, why? And we could talk.
Right.
My mom was like, okay, let's talk about it. How do you feel? What do you think? And then I was able to have this kind of dialogue. So I raised my son the same way, to ask questions.
Yeah.
Right now, although I've raised him in the church, he really thinks that he's Greek, so he's all into Greek mythology. Like that's what he's into. You know what? I was just like, he's like, you know, Apollo, Zeus. Hey, go for it. You know, he's 14. He's exploring. And I feel like it's okay. He's raised in church. When he comes home, we go to church. That's what we do. But I'm okay with him thinking and processing and exploring because I think it's necessary. I think you have to in order to come. I believe what I believe because I've gone out and I've explored and I know that what I believe to me is right.
Because one of the main things that I always question growing up, I would always question it, even when I tried to believe it. There is no way in hell this planet was populated by 2 people.
Oh no, that
just does not happen.
Wait, some people believe that. Though.
I know, but they don't really believe it.
Some people really believe that.
Yes, they do.
Some
they
people
really believe it.
Look. Am I wrong? They do. Yo, my sister will tell you that Adam and Eve, those were the first 2 human beings.
Okay,
Eve is a rib. They populated the entire parent. Everybody is a descendant of Adam and Eve.
All the different cultures.
Yes. Are you a human being?
Let me ask you this.
I don't agree with that.
Because this is what I always tell people.
It don't make any sense.
It was just Adam and Eve. They had 2 kids, Cain and Abel.
They walked away, came back with a wife. Where did the wife come from?
Where did Seth come from? Where did the children come from? Where did all these people come from?
Exactly.
Who were the women? Where were the women?
Yeah, they'll be like, oh well, they'll rationalize.
There are lots of people who don't
Eve
question
sleep with
that.
them to give them the kids? Like, where did the kids
The
come from?
siblings slept with each other.
Well, see,
nobody believes that.
Well, see, science. That's the part of faith. That's the part of faith that I was speaking about. Because science says, you know what I'm saying, contrary to exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the belief. So science says we come from monkeys.
It does not. Science does not say we come from monkeys. That is not what science says.
I mean,
no, it is not.
That's what evolution. That's what they talk about.
Monkeys are just as evolved
That's
as
what they
we
talk
are.
about evolution,
No,
right?
that's not what evolution
Okay.
says.
We're gonna
That's
agree to
not what
disagree.
evolution says.
Do you believe that the whole world was populated by Adam and Eve?
I believe that was the beginning.
You
know
do
what I'm
believe
saying?
that it's accurate.
God created the earth.
Do you believe that every scripture in the Bible is accurate? It's not just a story. It's not just a story. It's accurate. Like this is really what happened.
Jonah really
I
was
believe the
swallowed by a big fish.
foundation. I believe the foundation of the Bible is accurate. Yes.
Daniel?
No,
Where did the foundation start?
Ishmael. It was
teachers of God, teachers of Christ.
Meshach, and Abednego.
All right, so let's stop our sidebar conversation. So,
Sorry.
Lavelle said he believes that the Bible. So you're a fundamental Christian. Like you believe the Bible is right. Whatever the word says,
historical document.
It's historical. It's
I'm not saying I don't have questions. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the foundation, the principle. To see, we get so caught up in. You know what I'm saying? We get so caught up in the.
We have a call coming in. Hold on 1 second. You want to jump in? Hey, welcome to Conversations with Cupid. Who do we have?
Hi, my name is Zeke Bolden from Greensboro, North Carolina.
Hey, Zeke, welcome to the show. Do you have a comment about religion and dating?
Absolutely. I believe that, yes, Adam and Eve, everyone descended from them. Okay? That's my personal opinion. Now, let me tell you why I believe that. Siblings, yes, they slept together to help populate, and all these different things went the way that they went. In addition to that, the Bible says, and it gives historical data on how things went and what happened without me going into detail. In addition to that, it is so very important that if you know who God is and you say that he is all-powerful and all-good, then you have to believe what the Bible says. If you don't believe what the Bible says, then you actually say God is not who he is, because he would allow somebody to mess his word up so that everybody would be confused, or there would be some things in there. So I see the young man in the back shaking his head. Well, you know, I respect your opinion. We all respect each other's opinion. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, and I said, as I said in the beginning, this is a judgment-free show. We're not going to judge anybody for their beliefs. That is your belief. That is what you believe, and I believe you can find somebody, if you're single, who also believes that. So we're not going to judge it. I don't agree with what you're saying, but that doesn't mean I think I'm not going to say you're wrong or not evolved or anything. That's just your belief. That's what you believe. Amen. So
exactly.
Thank you for sharing your belief. So would you consider yourself a fundamental Christian? Like you believe that the Bible is accurate, historical, whatever it says, that's what it is?
Absolutely. I do believe that. And the reason why I believe, can I tell you why I believe that?
Sure.
Okay, the reason why I believe that is because along with the way, I kind of like the way you believe. You said, I believe that God is good and he's positive, and that's what he is. And I think in essence what you were saying that, hey, I believe that God is all powerful.
Of course.
Well, you got to ask yourself that question. If he is all powerful, then would an all powerful God allow somebody else to transcribe his word wrong so that somebody could be in error? In addition to that, understanding the Old Testament and the New Testament and what it said in either one makes a real big difference in how we see religion today. And there were a couple more comments that were made that about fundamental Christians, about Southern Baptists, and about the different divisions. A lot of that has to deal with, like somebody said earlier, that how they were taught. But now we live in a different era. People can study that Bible, understand it from Greek and Hebrew, and it be understood a different kind of way, if you will,
Okay.
but
I have one
without
more
me
question
really
for
going
you.
into detail.
Okay, I have one more question for you. Is God the God of Muslims, the God of Buddhists, is God the God of everybody, not just Christians? Or does God only belong to Christians?
God is the God over everyone.
Okay, so if God is the God of everyone, and I'm just asking a question, then is
Sure,
the
sure,
Quran also? The Quran is a spiritual book that the Muslims use. Is it accurate
Right.
and factual? And because what you said is God wouldn't allow somebody to write his word and it be wrong. So someone also wrote the Quran, just like people wrote the Bible. Many people wrote the Bible. Over 2,000 years, as you know, there were many writers of the Bible.
Sure.
66 books, right? Many different writers. And the same for the Quran. So if you're saying that God would not allow someone to write the Bible and it be wrong, is that true for the Quran?
Let me go back to your first question. I misunderstood it. Your question was, is God the God over everyone,
Yes.
regardless of their religion?
Yes.
That's how I perceive your question, and my answer would be yes. However, I don't believe that a Buddhist is praying to the God that I serve. I don't believe necessarily that a Muslim is praying to the God I serve. I respect their belief and how they feel. However, God is God and created everyone, and that's why it is the way it is. He gives you a free choice. If you want to believe in Buddha, then that's your choice. He is the father of everyone who's been created, but not everyone serves him. That's a choice that we have to choose.
Well,
So
I agree with
about
you
the Quran,
on some points.
You know,
I agree with
I'm
you on
sorry?
some points. I thank you for calling in, Zeke. Thank you so much for sharing your opinion. I think your perspective is more, fundamentalist. Sounds like, Lavelle, you're a fundamentalist too. Or you believe that the Bible...
I would like to comment because I feel like all the examples are being used of, if you was dating a Christian, you was dating a Christian. But what if you was dating a Muslim? Everybody have their preferences and their core values. And I believe that, when I look at a show like this, because I know that I can really get dominant in what I believe that what's at hand here is what you date someone outside your religion. And so what I see now is it kind of like switching a little bit. I feel that if you are at peace being a spiritualist, you at peace being in science, you at peace being atheist and whatever, you at peace with that. Yeah. And so we have to learn how to respect each other who we are. Because that's you, that's you.
I think I just said, like I said to him, I believe that you can have whatever you want. I've never said that anybody was wrong.
Oh, no, I didn't say you were wrong. I'm just saying, like, just really being at peace with a person is. Because I think that we get into judgment when someone say I'm a Christian. Oh, well, why you're a Christian? Why you don't believe this? Why you don't question that? Well, it's not for you to ask me that, because I'm not going to ask you why you an atheist. You being an atheist and me sitting next to him don't mean two cans of beans to me, because I'm not trying to preach him to Christianity. I'm not trying to preach him to no other thing. I respect him for what he is. Even with Machete hugs on me, and so I'm not like, get away from me,
Don't touch that, rebuke you.
I believe that the foundation of who God is love. and there are some Christians I know that can't sit here and have this conversation because they'll be all over the place. But I respect everybody's opinion here, and I think when it comes down to preferences, we all have them. Just like some guys like big butts, some guys like red girls, some guys like dark girls, and so we all have a preference. And
the
so,
butts make you turn up. Right. Go back to the butts.
Out of all the things, right?
He like butts.
His flesh. Calm down. And so I believe that we should respect people who they are. But if a person do not want to date you because they feel like you can't add to their core values, I believe that's okay. Because there's plenty of men who told me they can't date me because I'm big or because I'm dark skinned. That's okay.
And I think more what I was going to say for you, Lakeisha, just for you zoning in, it's not that you're Christian, because most black people are Christian. Mm-hmm. You're celibate until you're a virgin until marriage.
Well, that's the biggest deal.
I would think that would be more of a challenge than just the
Right.
fact that you're Christian. Most people are Christian,
Sure.
right?
Oh yeah, that's the
Let
biggest
me
deal
tell
breaker.
you, it's pretty
Even in the
damn
Christians.
hard.
To be what?
I dated somebody for 5 years who was waiting until she got married to lose her virginity. The struggle is real.
The struggle is real, but
Now,
I'm not
were you
trying to date
monogamous
nobody.
that whole time?
I'm not
Yes,
trying to
yes,
date
I
nobody
was.
for 5 years
Yes, I
either.
was. Yes,
Okay,
I was.
Lakeisha. So
I'm not
let's
trying to
zone
date
in.
nobody for 5 years.
We're
We
gonna
need
have-
this to be quick.
We're gonna have a show. I think I know 3 virgins.
We were also
Actually,
in our
I know 3 adult virgins. Everybody's
get this in.
Everybody's over 35, and I'm gonna have a show about celibacy and virginity and stuff. Most men I know say they can respect a woman who has never had sex to say she's gonna wait till marriage. Sometimes the question is, you had sex with all these dudes, and you want to wait with me?
Yeah.
Like, that's a
That's
question
real.
sometimes I hear. I'm just telling you what men say.
Yeah, that makes
it's
sense.
like, you done turned up for all these guys, and all of a sudden you gotta go do it
It's
for
the
me.
same thing with his marriage. He married his wife as a Christian. They both was Christian, and then in the middle of his life, he married his wife as a Christian, and he was a Christian. He was an atheist. In the middle of his journey, he had this whole spiritual awakening with all these questions. It's the same thing.
Awakening. Anti-spiritual.
Okay, anti-spiritual. But it goes, I believe that's what some women deal with, because I have met women who have slept with 50 guys, and they just say, you know what, the next man, I vow not to sleep with him, and just so happens
And
it's
that's
just
their right.
machete.
But they can't, like, for me, I respect everyone's right to do what they want to do with their own body. So, like, if someone says, I'm not having sex before marriage, I respect that. I can't date you. You and I won't be together.
And that's why I don't
But
date.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Or, like,
But
you
there
know,
are a lot of
yeah.
men who would.
I tell men up front, so because I
Right.
used to wait till they, we dating for a while, and then like, hey, guess what? We're not gonna have sex. But now I tell them up front to give them a choice, because I do want people to have a choice. I don't want people.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a burden on no man. Like, oh my gosh, this relationship
And
has
let me
burnt
ask
me
you,
down.
is that it? Because I would think with what you believe and you attend church, are there men in church who would? I would think in the surrounding that you're in as a minister,
Candace
you're
laughing.
in church, that there would be a lot of men who would say, "Listen, I got a virgin. I have a prize. I have somebody that's never been touched before."
Unfortunately, there's a lot of clowns too, and so I have met clowns. See, everything is people want to believe the Bible up until the sex part.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can pray together. Hallelujah, amen, Jesus.
Boy, listen,
Excuse me, you're not giving up those cookies. That's when it's a problem. And unfortunately, most Christian women deal with that with men in the church. So this, when it comes down to, that's why people always ask me, are you looking for another virgin? No, I don't want another virgin. Are you looking for a pastor? No, I'm not looking for a pastor. I'm just looking for a man with character.
This is the main one? No.
Don't. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I take it back.
But
I take it
yeah,
back.
but that's it. So yeah, we just riding this thing out. Hopefully, the drought will be over soon.
Let me read Tashanda's comment. Tashanda said, "If you can't date a person who is celibate, then you're definitely not a Christian." That's Tashanda's point. I just wanted to read that.
There is logic in that statement.
Well, Shay, let me say this.
Based on the Bible, if you
Yeah.
believe that the Bible, everything the Bible says,
Then you
then
shouldn't be
everybody
having
who is
sex.
Christian should not be having sex
Which is
until
why
marriage.
I really
I really wouldn't have a problem with it. I mean,
But
you know what I mean?
but the thing is,
For real.
but like Lakeisha said, they pick and choose what they want to
Right.
believe. So it's like, yeah, I can rock with you. That's wrong. That's wrong. Or you
Hopefully
going to
we go
hell
to
if
hell,
you do
but we
that.
going-
You're going to
we
hell
do
if you do
that.
that. But I'm about to get it in tonight. So it's like we pick and choose.
Yeah.
Pick and choose.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have an issue with it. I mean, if
So you
she
date
said,
somebody who's celibate?
absolutely, why not? I mean,
And
this
you're
is a young
be
lady.
monogamous and loyal to her.
So what?
Because I'm trying to make a love connection right now. So you'll be monogamous and loyal to that person.
Absolutely. Why not? I mean, this is a young lady. This is a young lady that's trying to do the right thing. Why would I, get in the way of that? You know what I mean? I have no issues with that. You know what I'm saying?
I respect that.
My life doesn't revolve around sex, and that's one of the biggest turnoffs for me is a person that act like they can't go a day without sex. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if a woman told you that would be a turnoff.
I can go a week.
No, I'm saying a person that feels like they can't go a day without sex. That is like one of the biggest. Like, what else you got going on? You know what I mean? You know.
So if you met a woman and she said, you know what, I'm celibate until marriage. That's not a deal breaker for you at all.
No, it's not.
Okay. No. And with that being said, I do think y'all should go on a date. Now let's move on.
But Shay, let me say this.
I got 2 dates on the show.
You got 2 dates.
I need to come back more often, man.
He's Christian. She's Christian.
You need to have me on every week.
He's okay with being a virgin.
Hold up. I got 2 dates. Hold up.
Handle it, Lavelle. I'm sure you can fit it in.
But Shay, let me say this: as somebody who dated somebody for that long without there being any sex, the one thing I can say is you learn so much more about yourself and about that person. Like, there were lessons that I have taken away from that relationship that will probably apply to every other relationship I'm going to have.
Because you didn't have sex.
Yes, because of there being no sex. Yes.
Like, really? I would like to hear some of the examples you would take away.
So we actually did more things. We learned more about each other than just what's your name, what's your favorite food. There were certain times where, so one example that I think was a really cool example was, she's in Alabama. She called me like on a Wednesday to go to see her nephew graduate from Marine boot camp in Paris Island. Just called me and it was like, hey, we got to do this. And I'm like, okay, let's go. But I could do that because of how well we knew each other, how well I knew her family, what I knew their core values and core beliefs were. Family meant everything to them. So for me, my woman needs to travel that much distance on that short notice to see her nephew. That's a non-issue. I know family is that important. We drop everything and we go.
And I want to
say something.
Yes, you can say. I want to say one more thing. The guy I was talking about who didn't believe in Jesus, we were also celibate, and
I'm surprised.
He was what is he? He's spiritual. We were together a year. He was I don't know. I don't have a word for him. He was spiritual, but he didn't believe in Jesus. And we were celibate the whole time we dated for a whole year. We took trips. We had great dates. Never had sex. Wow. And it was a beautiful experience for that reason. We would just spend, and then you couldn't do it, right? Listen, I like not doing it, but I enjoy our relationship because, like you said, you were able to go deeper than the surface.
Can we go deep and still get naked in the day?
You can.
I want to go deep and then
look at the attorney. Yeah. The attorney, you're ready to say
I would like to try that.
You can still fool around. There's just no penetration.
No, like, don't get me started if we ain't gonna go. Like, I
can't
do
that. Don't do anything.
Yeah.
You should date Lakeisha just see how that would work. She gonna say no to everything.
We want to make it. We can't even go to McDonald's together. So I mean,
you don't need to go to McDonald's.
So here's the thing that I think is interesting, right? We're getting caught up on this idea of sex, right? But there are spiritual practices and religions like tantric yoga that value that physical, emotional connection, and it is sacred to them. The same way that being a virgin or celibate may be sacred to someone else. This is the issue that I run into with the dating pool. It's just that I think we get caught up on these particular concepts because, sex feels hella good. Everybody want to be going in. That's what they want. Good sex. Yeah. That should be implied. Yeah, good sex, right. Yeah. This. Other than that, if it's not good sex, it's a waste of time. We're not calling it sex. We're calling it a waste of time. But I'm just being honest. I feel like the opposite, especially being in the South and being a black woman, the opposite doesn't always hold true. You can get judged if you are a sexual being without someone understanding what that means to you. Because we live in this particular region, you just a freak and you covering it up. No, I believe that connection can exist.
Yes.
I believe that people communicate on many, many, many different levels, and sex is just one of those levels.
Absolutely.
But you can get judged hard
here
absolutely.
Entitlement to experience
pleasure. Like
Yeah.
we have nerves that have pleasure, and
no, it is, and it is a privilege.
But for pleasure, but thing is, like, the pleasure for me though is mental. You know, I'm a sapiosexual, so it's like if a man is intelligent and he smells good and he's funny, and it's just gosh, you know, it's just like everything else. I've come across some of the finest men who are just like dumb as dirt, and I can't, and nothing gets me.
No,
but a
totally
man,
agree.
and I've come across some other men who were not that, physically attractive, but their intelligence was just so sexy, and I'm like,
yeah. Intelligence can take you to another level.
Yes,
absolutely.
It's very sexy. So.
Which is one of the things. What I was trying to say. And I know Christians are just gonna jump on me when I say this, but when I talk to people who are men who are atheists and they can explain why they believe what they believe, the intelligence is what stimulates me. I'm a sapiosexual. So if you're intelligent and you can articulate to me why you believe what you believe, I'm like, oh.
Well, most are intellects. Yeah.
But intellect. So what will turn me off? You could love God, love Jesus all day, and if I ask you why, and you just quoting scriptures or telling me what your grandmama said, and you don't know it for yourself, I don't want to hear what you're saying.
So true?
You don't know it for yourself.
The thing is, it's so funny you just said that, because one of the things that I found is when you have these conversations with people. I'm sorry, this is my Sharpie.
I was like, what are you doing?
Sorry, my bad. Can you put that back in, please? Thank you. But so basically, what I was saying was, if you, like, a lot of times when you try to have an intellectual conversation with someone about their beliefs, most people can't really articulate or don't even understand. Like, so many people I know, I'm a Christian, I'm this, I'm that, and then you start talking to them about the Bible. It's like, you don't even know the Bible. Have you even read this book yet?
They don't know it. And not just Christians. To Lakeisha's point, we're not bashing any religion, but what I'm saying is, no matter what you believe, if you don't know what you believe,
if you can articulate
why you
your
believe
position,
then that's a problem. We're all intellectuals, right? Most of us have gone to college. You're not. All of us can read. We're not illiterate.
Right.
Okay. You can Google search things. You can put in your phone. Ask Siri. You should be able to articulate.
Right. Yep.
You should be able to articulate what you believe. We live in an information age. It doesn't make sense that you don't know why you believe it. Whatever it is. You can tell me that you believe that the sky is God. Okay. Why? I just need you to tell me why. And if you can't do that, okay, have
But there's
a nice
a reason
day.
why they can't. There's a reason why they can't.
Well, a lot of people have.
Well, the reason, I'm sorry, you can't, the reason why people don't do that, the reason why people don't question, is because if you question, you open yourself up to the possibility you may believe something different than what you did going in. So the thing is, and that's why so many in religions, period, across the board, you're taught not to question, because if you do question, you may deviate from the dogma. You may deviate from what you've been taught, and then now you're out of alignment. So if your whole being is tied up into, I believe A, B, C, and D because that's what religion X says I should believe in, and then you question that, or you get more information and it doesn't make sense to you anymore, you've now fall out. Your identity, your self-image has been totally altered. So they choose to be
in the dark. Stupid. All right, I have two more questions. It's the holiday season. How does your belief system handle holiday celebrations? And we'll start with you, Candace. It's the holiday season. With what you believe, how do you handle the holidays? What do you believe in? What do you do? How do you celebrate?
I believe in all the holidays. I love them all. That's the thing. Like, I'm such open. A free spirit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so open to everyone else. I'm not going to say, well, you know what? You don't believe in the universe or the law of attraction, so I'm not going to talk to you anymore, or I'm not going to deal with you. I'm just like, so why do you believe that? Now, I'm just like you. If you could answer me with an intelligent answer, that helped me think too.
Yes.
Because maybe I can learn something from you. So I'm not closed off to saying this is what I believe. That's it. The universe is this is it, and that's the way of the world. I'm more or less. What can you teach me? So what can I teach you? I'm open to all the holidays. There's nothing that I don't. I don't have any restrictions when it comes down to that. It's just I'm out the box, and I enjoy being outside of it. So it doesn't.
I like that.
Yeah,
there's no effect.
Good. Okay, Lavelle, how do you celebrate the holidays?
I mean, I'm very traditional when it comes to the holidays. Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Do you put up Christmas trees?
Absolutely.
Because you know there are some Christians who don't, because there's a scripture in Jeremiah that talks about the evergreen and don't bow down to the evergreen. So I just want to know, I'm just asking questions.
A lot of people,
I know.
a lot of people,
it is pagan.
Again, a lot of people.
Christmas is pagan. The Christmas trees and Santa Claus.
Pagan.
No, that's why I'm asking questions because there are some people who will say, I do not celebrate holidays because that has nothing to do with my beliefs.
But to me, those are people that are caught up in the religion. You know what I mean? The practice. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say I'm a spiritual man, not necessarily a religious man. You know what I mean? So, to me, I'm traditional in a way that I'm open to a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, those are things that I was taught. And I don't really see it, even Halloween. Hey, I don't see nothing wrong with dressing up.
You would do
but that's me. You know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of people that say, oh, no, that's the devil.
Yeah.
But who said you had to be a monster? You could be an angel.
Be a pumpkin.
You know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with the pumpkin?
That's my, you know what I'm saying?
They punk with Charlie Brown.
I was thinking.
So I mean that's what I mean by I'm a spiritual man, not
religious.
a religious man. Because to me, religion, it can.
It's restrictive.
It can, yes, it has a lot of limitations to it. And you know what? To me, a lot of people, everybody wants their religion to be the right religion,
right?
So that causes division in a lot of cases. Right. You see what I'm saying? So now we're at each other's throats about who's right and who's wrong. Mm-hmm. But guess what? It's only one God, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get
kill
you.
all that.
All right, we have 5 of y'all, so let me make it quick. Holidays, what do?
I believe in holidays. I celebrate Christmas. My tree is up right now.
Oh, okay, you have to post some pictures. Let me see the picture. Picture your tree. All right. Oh, no.
I love Christmas. It's my favorite holiday.
Really?
The only holidays that I have problems with is 4th of July and Thanksgiving. Other than that,
Okay, Thanksgiving you do not celebrate. Do you even eat? Because I see all these hotel people that don't do Thanksgiving, but they eating food.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, for real.
I'm just being honest.
I ain't Hotep though. I'm real African. I'm real African.
Listen, I know the history of Thanksgiving, right? We all do. We all know that the Europeans gave diseases to the native people, and everybody. But my family wasn't here then. I don't have anything to do with that. Right. So my family weren't pilgrims, so I don't know what that's about. But they say they don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but they're eating on Thanksgiving. So I just want to clarify.
I now celebrate Thanksgiving because I started to for my kids. And then 4th of July, like I'll take the kids to the fireworks, but I'm just like, don't talk to me today.
What is it? Because of United States independence?
July 5th, we were picking cotton still. We would have been better off. The English abolished slavery way before.
You are Hotep. You just said
I'm not Hotep. I am not Hotep. I'm just well informed. I am not Hotep. This country This country has. I have no.
You're just not patriotic.
I have no allegiance to the United States of America. When they have allegiance to me, I have allegiance to them.
I totally agree. So you take a knee during the national anthem.
I know, right?
You take a knee during the national anthem.
I take a knee. I've never stand up ever.
Even before this whole thing.
Even before going back to 8th grade. Going back, military school, I used to get the merits every day because I went to salute. I'm not doing that.
Oh, my. Okay. Yeah. Machete.
I believe in celebrating every single holiday because it is food and family. When I celebrate the 4th of July, I'm celebrating a friend of mine's birthday because that's her birthday. I kind of have some of the same issues as Ono with regards to America and their independence, but my people were still slaves.
Right.
But I do still gather with my friend and her family, and we celebrate her birthday because that's the day she was born. But even if I'm dating somebody who is of a different religion, we celebrate your holidays too, because that's more time with family, that's more time with good food, and depending on what time of the year it is, that's time off from work.
Unless it's Ramadan when it's not. So this, because I don't have a Muslim on the panel, but like during that year of Ramadan, there's like I don't want to be ignorant, so Khadijah, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a few days where they can't eat until 6 p.m. Would you respect that and not eat with her? You would fast with her?
I fast with her.
Oh, no, said no.
I respect it. You're not gonna eat. But I ain't going hungry.
I'm gonna sneak me a slice of cheese or something.
Exactly. I'll describe what it tastes like to you. This is so good, girl.
That is a mess.
Much like the young lady that I dated who was waiting to be a wife before she had sex. It's gonna be rough in the beginning, but if this is something that you respect, and I say I love you, I'm gonna do it with you.
You're a good dude.
He is a good dude. I tell women all the time,
Hey,
and
man.
they be sleeping on him.
Man
I
of
tell
the
them all
year.
the time.
Man of the year
Somebody
right
hit
there.
him up.
He's a good dude.
No,
He really
I'm
is.
just saying.
All right, Ayana.
I just don't believe in thinking yourself out of any opportunity to have joy.
Oh, that's sweet.
I like that too.
There you go.
I think you should.
People.
There you
Everybody
go.
here. Y'all are all right.
I know, right? That's why I was saying at the
didn't
end of the
high-five
day,
me, Val.
love is the root. And if love is the root, it's always all good, right?
We did that.
Okay, my other question, I asked about the holidays. My other question was, does your family expect you to marry a specific faith? Does your family expect you to marry a specific faith? Candace?
I think my family, they've accepted me now. Like so even now my mother, she's into crystals and things. Like I'm into healing crystals.
Yeah.
I'm into the sage and I'm into all of the. I'm very metaphysical. So at first it was like, okay, now that might be the devil. But then it's like, it's that as they saw my life begin to change and to evolve and all the amazing things that started to happen in my life, they became more open. So my mom is like, oh, I need a good yoni egg. What kind of yoni egg should I get? What kind of crystal should I use? What kind of,
So she's open.
Yeah, and so now it's just like, so now
They're open to that. Honestly, that was something I was afraid to share. I have like a little table in my room with my candles and my crystals and stuff. With my boyfriend and I, we live together. So one of the things I was afraid of, is he gonna think I'm a devil worshiper, I'm a witch or whatever? And he just like, girl, that's what you do. So whatever. I might be burning sage today, and he'll come in like, what happened? What's going on with you cleansing? He understands that I feel like I need to cleanse something. He don't get into it, but he respects it. That's what
I actually like that. That's so. I mean, even though I don't.
Oh, you actually like
Even though you don't do it.
Yeah, no. What I'm saying is like I've been in relationships with people who do, and I actually.
That's more scientific to me than anything.
It is scientific because we can say why, how,
right.
and then we can show you the manifestation of it.
The evidence, you can
see
vibrations, there's the light spectrum, there's the way it resonates with your consciousness. There's a whole scientific explanation behind that.
I need to hang with you.
And not only that, he has been with me when we've had a problem. I've done this specific thing, and boom, it's resolved. So he can't even question it. It's like, whatever she's doing is working, so whatever.
Right.
They see the manifestation, and that's the difference.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, so, okay, does your family expect you to marry a specific... are your parents agnostic, too?
No, my mother is a Baptist, and my father was a Methodist before. Still a Methodist, he passed away. But no, my family expects me to bring home a black Christian woman. That probably is not going to be what they going to get.
What you mean? I think you will probably be with a Christian.
Because you're flexible.
I love him so much.
If you date him black, you probably.
I am very flexible, but again, every Christian woman I've dated, I'm no longer with.
Because of you being agnostic.
Yes,
right.
But you're open to going to church with them. You're open to raising the children.
They're not open to him not believing what they believe.
Exactly.
Because that's one of the core things about dating people who are very, very religious, not spiritual, very religious. They feel they must conform you. Yeah.
Oh
like
my
even
gosh.
like don't take like even like how you were saying with the chick, like with a girl. You saying a girl, your goal is to get them to where you want them to be, right? I mean, nothing's wrong with that. Nothing's wrong with that.
That's what he said in the Lakeisha.
That's what you said.
Again, ideally. Well, okay, go ahead. Let me finish your point.
So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is, but you need to find someone who's, I hate to use the term, but equally yoked, who's going in that direction. Because like a female machete, right? Not pretty, but a female, a female machete who's like attractive, like a woman, right?
Oh, hell no.
Damn, I forget.
I can't picture that one, cuz. I can't picture that one.
A woman who has the same belief as Machete would not be a compatible mate for you because they're not going to believe what you believe in.
And we may not be compatible,
Right.
but see, I think maybe, you know what I'm saying, you took what I said a little maybe out of context. My goal is not to convert someone. My goal is to allow an opportunity for a connection, right? And whatever happens after that happens. I'm not judging that person. I'm not trying to convert that person. I'm letting that person know where I stand, and they are welcome to join me if they want to. You feel what I'm saying?
But they don't join you, they're gone.
Well, that's compatibility. That's compatibility, brother. You know what I'm saying?
So we're saying the same thing.
Nobody's judging. Nobody's judging.
Yeah,
I just want to wrap up because we only have a few more minutes and we have to close out. But I want to thank all of you beautiful single people for joining me today and sharing your truth and sharing your belief. You know, again, there is no judgment. Whatever you believe, you are indigenous, natural. What is it? Tell me again.
I tried to distill it down to nativism.
Nativism.
We'll go with
okay, well, I want to say it right.
You should have had a Scientologist on.
You know
no,
what?
No, they believe in Thadons. Do you know what Scientology is?
Hold on.
Okay,
We're not
sorry.
judging anybody's belief.
No, I'm judging Scientologists. I'm sorry. I'm judging Scientologists.
Oh,
they
Lord,
get judged.
You sure did.
They get judged.
But I also asked.
Yo, for real.
I did ask a woman who is Muslim to join. She couldn't join. I asked a guy who is Jewish.
Yeah,
Thank
they
you.
cool.
Hebrew. Hebrew. Oh, you know who I'm talking about. Hebrew. He couldn't join. And I also asked a young lady who is a Yoruba priestess to join us, and she couldn't join. Yeah, and so maybe she'll come another time. But this is a great discussion. Being here in the South, we know that most people we encounter will be Christian, right? But there are a few of us, you know, and I'm Christian, but there are a few people that you will encounter who are not Christian. And I think like what we discover here, they can still be great people. They can still be smart, funny, and you know, and not mean and evil because they don't believe what we believe, right? No, I think that's important because some people are only around people who think like them. And if you're only around people who think like you think that people who don't, there's something wrong with them or they're mean or whatever.
No growth in that.
There is no growth. And iron sharpens iron, as we believe. So as you meet and encounter other people, you expand, your thoughts expand, your mind expands, your experiences expand, and they're able to share some things with you. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you having a hardcore, the person I marry has to be this belief system. If that is what you believe, I believe that with you, and I believe that you can find someone definitely who also believes that. And for those of you who are open to believe and open to love, no matter what religion, you can certainly find what you're looking for as well. So again, not to plug my book, but to plug my book, there is a lid for every pot.
Plug your book.
There's definitely a lid for every pot. I believe that, and I'm so I'm touching and agreeing with all of you that you will have the lid to your pot, that you will find a person that your heart desires. Whomever he or she is, they might be sitting at this table, Lavelle. They may not be.
Choose one of these.
You might need to choose one. You know, if I were you, I would. But thank you again for joining us. Thank you to thank you to our Facebook friends for joining us.
Oh my gosh, I can't do it.
I know we didn't get to read all of your comments, but I will read them tonight. Thank you for my friend Amina. She used to be married to a Muslim. She's an atheist. And she believes in tantric sex. She teaches tantric sex.
Wait, who is that?
Amina, right here.
Look at you for the right reason.
Send me a friend invite.
She is gorgeous and she is smart. And she's the person I talked about when I used to be like, no, I'll never be friends with an atheist. And she's definitely expanded my thoughts and experiences. I said that last week. Oh, it is World AIDS Day, and I would be irresponsible if I didn't remind you singles to wrap it up, get tested, know your status. But until next week, we'll talk to you later. Thank you for joining us on Conversations with Cupid. You can find me at middleclassmatchmaker.com or my dating site, Middle Class Match. Smooches, have a good night.
If you would like to advertise your business on Conversations with Cupid, airing every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Instinct Radio, email us at shay@middleclassmatchmaker.com. That's shay@middleclassmatchmaker.com.